Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jim Bob Ovalshorts, and tonight we bring back Voila-Me and my buddy John from Canada to just catch up and talk about a little bit of everything, man. We got a full house for you tonight. Luis, Neptune, and Bandit are all here, and we're just gonna have some real good conversation, man. Just a general things going on in the world. We're going to be all over the place, so make sure you keep up, man, because I think tonight is a fantabulous conversation that is just full of so much good things and a lot of stuff to learn and look into, of course. And you guys know that we'll have the ability to get those links to get back to Voila-Me and to John and anything that we talk about on tonight's episode at everyone's favorite website that's on the internet right now, unconstitutionalawakening.com. Your home for everything us, man. And you can find all kinds of great things over there, from links to get back to us on social media to links to our private social medias and stuff, even, man. Like we're all out there spreading information daily, and you guys can keep up with us more than just here on the show. There's also places to watch us when we're on guest's other show and when I'm co-hosting the show over there with Vince at the Red Pill Project, man, as well as the area to answer the questions for getting yourself these Unconstitutional Awakening stickers we're giving away is over there in the podcast and more section underneath each individual episode. Make sure you guys check that out. Get those questions answered and get yourself a cool sticker. While you're there, you can also check out the links to watch us if all you do is listen, and listen if all you do is watch us, as well as listening while you're there on the show, man. You can change it up, do whatever you like. We definitely appreciate the support. We're getting closer and closer every day to 10,000 downloads, and we've done surpassed 10,000 views on many of these platforms, man, Rumble and BitChute, and it's greatly appreciated. The gratitude is definitely there. You can also help us out by showing some of that gratitude by getting some of that sweet UA merch, man. There's all kinds of good things like those stickers I just said, shirts, man, all kinds of good things over there. You guys check it on out. Throw a little bit of love at the show, man. That's the best way you can show us some love back, because we're trying to show you love by continuing to do everything over here for you guys, and that's the reason we're going 150 something plus episodes strong. So y'all keep showing it out there, man. And also check out our friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, PhD, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected, and Pure Pet Wellness. All these guys are offering great alternatives to all the garbage that's out there, making the whole corporate capitalism world that we live in kind of a mess. So go over there and check out these alternatives, man. Maybe you can find yourself something good dealing with it. Down at the bottom of the website, you can find all the links to get back to us at social media, like Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates, Defeat the Media, both over there on Facebook, Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast on Instagram, and Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast on Twitter. We also have all kinds of links to all kinds of other good things all over the place, man. So you guys get over there and show us that love. We appreciate it. We see all you guys out there following and showing support to the show, and can't thank you guys enough for all of it from the bottom of my heart. But I say let's weigh anchor and hop on this conversation. I think it's going to be a good night. Didn't go. Now it did.
All right, yeah. So we were talking about that drink thing. Something that's worth trying, though, guys, is if you can get your hands on it. It's called Trader Vic's. It is a chocolate liqueur. And if you mix that with the Screwball peanut butter whiskey, everyone has been talking about how they want a Reese cup as a sweet drink. Trader Vic's chocolate liqueur and Screwball will make a real Reese cup.
But
Promise.
see, now this is where drinks get dangerous because, again, as I've said many times, I'm not much of a drinker. So if you make something that doesn't have that alcohol taste to it, this is how I end up with stories like Bush Boy or Left in the Middle of Goat Island or other shenanigans that have happened because I drank one too many.
That's fair. I mean, when we did hang out, I did
Oh.
offer you moonshine, and you did just explicitly say that you were you did not have a good alcohol tolerance. So
I mean, okay, so you
and
should not
Bandit,
start
that
with
wine
Jimmy
that
and
you
moonshine. Come on.
gave me, I want more of that. By the way,
Why would you give Jimmy moonshine? Come on.
Yeah,
I had it
Because he
and-
looks like a rum runner?
It's not really
Moonshine
like
led- Moonshine led to the Goat Island story.
it's not. It wasn't really
Tell us. what
real.
is the
It
Goat
wasn't
Island?
real moonshine.
Well, moonshine is just defined as
No, it was flavored.
non-taxed.
It was with
non-taxed
sour
liquor.
blue Jolly Ranchers.
Okay,
There are some people in Kentucky that would like to speak with
There's-
you, Luis.
There's some people in
No,
there's some
I
people
mean,
in
it's
Georgia that would speak with
non-taxed
you.
alcohol.
I know, but it's
They,
there is
really
a
the simplest definition of it, the most
Cor-
simplistic version of it.
yeah.
corn whiskey is popular in the woods around here because there's plenty of it for animal feed and stuff, and it's so
Yeah.
cheap per bag.
Yeah.
A lot of people around these parts are familiar with Popcorn Sutton, and basically he had 3 recipes. The one he's known for is his corn liquor, but he also provided recipes on making brandy.
And I've got
Mhm.
He also made one for rum, which a lot of people overlook. But for that part of it, I think it's still. I don't know. I think I like moonshine. I respect the craft. I've been involved with it at different levels.
I went to
Pretty
a
much since I
family.
was 9 years old, so I don't know.
Okay.
I have an appreciation for it, including flavored ones. Which, yes, Bandit, I know it's technically not moonshine when it's flavored, but it's still pretty good.
When we
No,
I
I
think there
mean-
has to be a certain alcohol content to be considered like on the
Sure.
level of
Sure.
legit moonshine. There has to be a certain alcohol content.
Yeah,
It has to likely be
cut
over
down
80
so
proof,
far.
right?
Yeah,
Officially, yes.
yeah.
80 proof.
But when
at
you get
least.
into dabbling on flavoring, you wind up cutting it so far down that it can risk the potential of not technically being moonshine anymore.
Well,
mean, it's
like
still-
I know what you guys are talking about, like that stuff that you can buy on the shelves, that Old Smoky, like it's more of a malt
No,
liquor if you want to
it's
be real.
com-
It's
yeah,
modern.
it's
It's
commercial.
modern. It's modern MD 2020.
It is a
Ugh.
moonshine if you pay taxes on it.
All right, yeah.
Mad
It's
Dog
not
2020.
moonshine, like it's not moonshine if you don't pay taxes.
And-
In Puerto Rico, we call it pitorro, and yeah, none of that is taxed.
When
It's,
I was
it's just made in the
younger,
mountains.
and we first came to Georgia after my dad abandoned us and stuff, we like went to this family reunion, and that was something that the family was talking about, was how they come from a line of shiners and shit, and had like photographs and stories, and I thought that was always neat. But like you can still run across real shine down here in the woods, and we did one night stuff that you could make a bomb out of if you lit it on fire in the glass jar, like no shit. Like
I mean, you could kind of do that.
and and the next thing you're partying out near the lake, and there's a goat island out near Jackson Lake, and for some reason there's just tons of goats on this lake and have been for quite a long time out in the middle of the lake. And I woke up the following morning there. I don't remember too much of the night. The good stories are that I was trying to get the goat to come on the boat with us, and my tiny ass was trying to ride goats and such, and they just ended up leaving me there and going back to camp. So
So,
It happens.
but did the goats eat any part of your clothing?
the goats accepted me as one of their own. I do recall that because they
I mean, you
were very
probably smelled
accepting.
of your own goat. Don't you- didn't you
Jimmy,
have a
in your
goat at the time?
defense, you could probably
You just
blend
smelled
in
your own
well
goats.
with your Billy Goat beard. You could probably blend in to a goat population.
I guarantee if I was drinking that, I was on all fours anyway. So it was probably just sounding like bah, bah, bah. So they probably just thought I was one of them.
I wonder how good goat eyesight is.
Pretty good, I would say. They're good at getting.
They have really good hearing.
Yeah,
Give them that.
Yes.
they're good at getting
They
to
have
things.
very good hearing.
Like they can pinpoint that piece of green leaf that just fell across the yard and get to it quicker than anything else in the yard can, because it's foreign to what they can reach or whatever. Like
And apparently there is like big business in like people bringing in goats to clear property lines for people.
Oh,
that is a
If
plan.
it-
Big business,
Okay.
man.
even Google does it.
My buddy's mother is from Jamaica, and she has a yard of goats. She does not own a lawnmower.
So I did.
But see,
does
the
not
thing
need one.
with goats is you have to like you can't let them roam the whole yard. You
yes.
have to section it
Have
off
to move 'em.
at a time,
You have to
because if you let them roam, they'll chew that shit down to like past the roots, and you'll end up with a barren
So-
wasteland.
So yes,
Dead
I
crops.
I haven't had to cut grass in a long ass time because the goats totally take care of it. And yeah, you do have to rotate them because yes, if you don't, everything that they can reach, which could be from the top of my head down,
So-
is going to be bare. And
Why don't people grow?
bark and all.
On a real question is, I seen a lot of information. It's like goats are pretty profitable.
Oh, they
So-
are,
so
man.
that's
So much
that's a
products
plan
that come from
actually.
them.
Yeah, that's
Why
I
is
want.
there no big push more for goats? Other than because they're more profitable, they produce more products. The quality of the products is generally higher. People prefer goat's milk. Or prefer goat's
Oh,
cheese.
it's goat milk is king.
Goat's milk
So
is better.
why-
Goat's milk is better for humans. It's closer to human structure
Yeah.
than any
So
other
why
milk.
is it not a more predominant option?
You
other than
answered
it's
your own
rare
question.
already?
You
Goats,
answered your own question
yes, because it's a very self-sufficient thing. Like
because it's
That's
good
a
for
s-
you.
that's a step that I'm like that's a step I want to take.
That's seriously
Welcome,
serious
Voila-Me.
though. Serious though.
That's
Voila-Me,
a,
is this a music video? Is this the start of a music video? I love how you're flipping us so perfectly.
that's a step that I'm actually working
No, it
on.
sounds
is
cool.
I want to make not only do I want the dairy goat aspect, but I would also like to get a herd of anywhere from 50 to be real with you, 50 to 100 that I could train.
You could make a very
that I could
nice
train
living.
in. Well, listen, that I could train into a because you can buy these expandable wire fences that you can move. You know what I'm saying?
How much
Yeah.
land? Well, I don't know how much
and
land
if
you
I-
have at the moment.
And if I could train them, I'm broke as a joke, bro. That's most of the time. But the you can get this movable fence and you can keep them in this area. Like I see people do it down here. It's a common thing. And you train these goats to be inside this little fence, and you just got to kind of move it along with them. And it might take 2 days, but you can totally clear an area. And there's also, I love to bring this up because people don't understand this either. If you really want to really till up a space, like really till up a space, fence it off, and
Pigs.
throw a couple hogs in there. You will flip that dirt. You will flip that dirt in days, and they will.
Well, what you got to do is you have to use corn,
Sure.
and you just soak it, and you throw corn into this land that you want them to tear apart, and see, the thing is, like, chickens are really good at turning ground too.
They're good for the
If you-
greenhouse.
If you have a compost
Exterminators.
pile, yes, bug population in my backyard is down. But like if you have a compost pile, you can hide the chickens' food in the compost pile, and they will get in there and they will turn it looking for their food. So I mean, it saves you a job to do, you know?
I actually do the worm turning. Like I like to just pour bucket, like go get some worms from the bait store and throw the whole can of worms on there. And sure, you're gonna lose most of them to the chickens, but they do a good job at helping turn it over too.
Speaking of chickens, real quick, have y'all heard about that warehouse burning on fire? Those 100,000 chickens.
Well, I will say
That won't even.
the amounts are very small in relationship to the population of chickens, which is
360 million laying hens in the United States alone. 100,000 is nothing to panic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like 150 million, right? 350 million. Out
Yep.
of that, they can raise the population to 1 billion in literally 2-3 months. They were explaining how in the United States and in other countries, if they want to raise the capacity, it's not that complicated. Actually is pretty simple, but it takes 3 months. So they already said that this scarcity will end, but it is very fascinating. The whole Purina food and what's the other brand? There's 2 brands that they were causing.
Purina is the big one.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
One. Remember the feed that people literally the chickens were not producing eggs, and even in basic training, at least to my friend, they told them.
I know what you're. I know what you're talking about.
Erections.
But my chickens just started laying again. Yeah, my chickens just started laying again. So I got eggs.
The food stopped being bad, or you changed the food?
I think mine was because we get our feed from a local shop.
But that's the thing. They were explaining that the local shops were, remember, the sourcing comes. So those local shops, where do they buy their feed from?
They mix it themselves. I was
about to say, like in my area, we have a group called Tillman.
You still gotta ask what you're mixing it with.
That's true. That's very true.
We have a group called Tillman down here in Georgia, or Tillamook or something like that. But that dude runs out of he's in between where me and Neptune are. Like he'd probably be a good halfway point for us to meet, and he does everything like out of the state. And it does beg the question sometimes, like what is he putting in his food? But being a family owned company going on a little over 50 years, like this dude seems pretty upfront and honest that he's trying to run, you know what I'm saying? Like he's got a decent presence in Georgia, but he doesn't do near the damage that Purina does.
So let's jump straight to that. I'm kind of jumping way over everything else to get here, but this is probably it's not a foregone conclusion that farms, for their part, the ones that stay family owned, obviously, as Bandit has already mentioned, 350 million versus 100,000, that's a drop in the bucket. But
what people were panicking over those dozen food processing plants burning down, which as far as I'm concerned, it's been
1,000 by now, but I'm like, I don't know.
No, there's no way it's been 1,000. There was like a few dozen, maybe a few dozen that burned down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, they were doing us a favor. There are something like 18,000 food processing plants here in the United States? 18,000?
Yep.
By the way,
so
subpar human conditions. Barely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know. I've worked at one of those food processing plants.
So we can get there on all of those in every level, from chickens to hogs to cattle.
To the feed that they're getting fed. Like there was I recall a guy when I apologize to interrupt, but I recall a guy when I first found TikTok that worked there and got in trouble because he was filming the inside of this Purina factory and they were putting plastic.
I remember that story.
Yes, I do. It's nasty.
I gotta jump straight.
Go ahead, Neptune. I'm sorry.
I gotta jump straight to the end of this because it comes down to one hard stop. And this really applies at every level of farming. When the government comes to you and offers to subsidize your farm, say fucking no. That's what it comes down to. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. Okay, so from these hatcheries that are going completely fucking tits up with these fires and shit, from the atrocious conditions that hogs are and and cattle too are subjected to, even chickens,
Yes.
for that matter.
Yes.
It is abhorrent. It is beyond reproach.
Yes.
You know what's even worse, though? Believe it or not.
No.
You know what's even more worse? You know what's even worse for the environment?
What?
Yeah.
Like vegetarian the vegetarian farming, the beyond meat, the
Sure.
beyond
Yeah.
whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How
Yeah,
much what it kills compared to industrialized like meat processing.
That's
So,
true. I will not discount that whatsoever.
So
But anyone,
so
That
the,
Beyond
I,
Meat is
you know, I'm
beyond
government,
trash.
these government subsidized farms
yes.
do more harm than good. And I don't care if they say that there is no evidence of a government plot that's involved. You are putting
Well, it's
yourself at
A/B
risk
testing.
if
They're
you
just
are
doing testing. They're
for
just
real.
doing testing.
If you subsidize your farming industry to the government, you are putting your own livelihood at risk.
So
Even and especially
I'm glad you brought that up.
in the context of everything else, nothing else matters at the end. The industry would survive.
So even though
But you are fucking yourself getting into bed with the government.
even though Hannah
and this is proof positive of that, as far as I'm concerned.
so even though Hannah Cox
That's my
has
point, so I'm done.
even though Hannah
Oh
Cox has
Jesus! I just saw that fucking
listen,
name.
I know.
I just saw the
Listen,
name.
I'm not a big fan of her because she has Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates blocked because of my trolling. And it's not really even trolling. It was more of asking her tough questions that put her in a corner, and instead of answering them, she blocked me. So she brings up
Who
a
is
good
this
point
person?
here. Hannah, she works with that other dweeb that does that talk show.
Wow, I have not heard that word in a bit.
Weeb.
Dweeb.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So anyway, she shared this on Twitter or whatever, and I found it, and it's from this bushels per acre, talking about him having to dump all the milk and stuff like this. And this is onto that subsidized farms and the quotas and stuff like this. And I know this is a real thing. And
the quotes from Canada that they were like they were throwing away the milk.
And this happens here too, you know.
Yes.
And on a daily basis with cheese and
I've heard of government cheese, sir. 4 pounds per citizen.
The metric shit ton of bullshit that people have to sign on the dotted line and agree to.
Yes.
To get these subsidies from the federal government to subsidize farms is absolutely fucking atrocious.
You lose all of your rights to
your
equipment and stuff like that. It's not your equipment. You have to use government, you know, this, that, and the other for the equipment. You have to use.
So are we really? I think you're describing communism.
Yes.
But
ladies and gentlemen, you just described communism with capitalistic frameworks.
But what a thing that I will stand by with a lot of this is that when you have, you know, I've seen these farmers in a lot of aspects. I've seen these farmers that do this. I've seen these farmers that will destroy crops because they're told to do so. I've seen them that throw away all of this waste because they're told to do so, or they'll even kill cattle and hogs and stuff because they were told to do so.
Why has this happened? Like, because there's people that want to control the market value.
Because there's people that want to control the market values. You're 100% correct.
But it's so pathetically destructive that it's in the worst interest of any nation to abide by these types.
And here's my biggest output that I always have with this, and I know this upsets people, but this man right here that's upset about having to pour this and that is out here doing this is a fucking coward, because he is just obeying what he is told instead of fucking doing the right thing. And not only is he a coward, but the people that would show up to actually do something to this man for doing the right thing are fucking cowards. Like, I'm sorry, if they showed up and told me to get rid of my milk, you can suck a dick, because they're about to be getting it sold off the side of the fucking road. Like,
but why
are your plates level 4? That's my next question.
That's my next question.
Why, for example, can they not? So you can take milk and you can convert it into a stable, like shelf stable product. Let's say,
yes,
which I've tried it, tastes fine. It's a shelf stable product.
Yes,
meaning you can store it for long periods of time.
Yes.
Why is one, that an option not for that company? Two, why can't they just use it for making cheeses? It's like, I don't get, or creams, like there's like all these byproduct companies that are always looking for supply. And when you have excess, you're like, how much excess do you have? Well, I have this much excess. And some smaller companies will just straight up buy it.
That's how Swanson Foods got their start. Was the fucking
This could be fully automated too. Like
yeah,
that's the crazy. This is
like-
2023. We can
like-
fully automate all this stuff.
for real. Like Swanson Foods, when they came up with their TV dinners concept, which they weren't the first, but still
They are so terrible. They are so horrible.
they are. But all right, so hear me out on this. The way they apparently came up with their concept, at least according to their story, was they had surplus turkey that didn't sell. I think this was like 47 or 48.
Let's freeze it and sell it to the poors.
Apparently,
Well-
Capitalists is like,
reusing scraps was how they figured out, okay, yeah, we can do something with this. That's how we'll make it work. And then salespeople got
You're
involved.
telling
They
me
figured
lean
out they could
cuisine
package it.
is scraps.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but still, there was so much byproduct of good, usable product that was there that was just going to go to waste, that they didn't know what to do with it. So that, I think that's the larger principle, is food waste is gross. And I've talked about this before, so I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Food waste.
Beat that horse.
Well, the
Food
thing
waste
is, food
depresses
waste is
the hell
one
out of me.
the
We have
biggest
so
part-
many insecure food insecure households in this country. That one makes me sick to my fucking stomach. So
I mean,
there it is.
Oh, I think it's 60% of the country has food insecurity currently. 60%.
That makes
Oh,
me
yeah.
sick to my fucking stomach.
Really?
And
The prices in the store-
160
I would fucking
million
raise-
people have food insecurity.
the
Yeah.
prices in the store have put me into the situation of food insecurity. Like it costs me almost as much to make a dinner for my family of 5 than it does to just take them up the street to Wendy's.
It's this kind of bullshit that makes me understand why Uncle Ted was right. Theodore Kaczynski did nothing wrong.
Put another coin in the Uncle Ted was right jar.
Oh, damn
Yes,
it.
sir.
All right. But Ted, okay. But this is the thing. Let me say something about Ted. You know that there's a lot of proof that it wasn't him?
Do you know that
yes and no.
Yeah,
That it
I've
wasn't
heard
him
that.
who set the bomb.
Apparently, his
When
brother
they
threw
came to
under the
meet him,
bus
he
just
was like,
because.
What?
Yeah.
When they found him, he was kind of like, what? And now, a person that is that smart, do you think they would honestly play the what? Me?
me?
Still.
Didn't do
Wonder-
anything.
So it's
either way. I'll own it, because that's just it's
No,
just
I'm
another
saying the
feather- it's
possibility.
just a
Ted
feather in the cap.
Kaczynski didn't harm anyone. He was just
Yeah.
a guy that wrote this manifesto and potentially didn't harm anyone.
And his brother sold them out. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
'Cause when you write such a document that is, very well spoken
Very
and
well
is
spoken.
reverberating,
He was a
in today's
genius.
society. Oh yeah, he was.
Oh, he was way beyond a genius.
Yeah, he was a math professor at Harvard. If I got
Yep.
it,
One of the youngest.
one of the youngest.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
now, how did he get into the experiment, the LSD experiments? How you doing? Are you ready
mean,
for the LSD experiments?
so
Yes.
all right. Now it's funny that you guys brought this up because I was
good.
actually talking about this recently.
Talking about Teddy.
What's going on, John? I'm glad to see that you joined us this evening. John,
Hey.
John, this is Voila-Me. Voila-Me, this is
Oh,
John.
what's up, John? It's good to
Hey.
see you again.
Good to see you, brother.
Great. So, yeah, it's funny you guys brought up, Uncle Ted and stuff. In this venture that I've done, and I know John can relate to this, and I'm probably sure Voila-Me can too. When you're out here putting out the truth, you get messages from people. For some reason, people confide
Oh,
in you, and they'll
My
send
friend.
they'll send you things that fucking
Yes.
shock you and shake you, and you're just like,
Yes.
holy shit. I've
I'm
had
looking
some,
at one. I'm looking at one right now, Jim Bob. Straight
Um,
up.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some good conversations with some interesting people in that kind of aspect, and I've actually pulled one up since you guys brought up Uncle Ted about how this lady in my early days of getting popular online reached out to me, and she wanted to bring up the conversation of the Learjet crashes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Learjet crashes. They, there's a little bit of a conspiracy around there, but it happened during the Clinton administration, and these planes had gone down. They were like experimental planes or whatever, supposedly, and it was a whole bunch of high up important people were killed in this situation. Well, this young lady that had reached out to me, her father is somebody that died on one of these planes. And apparently the lieutenant or the colonel or whatever that also died in this plane accident, him and our buddy that we're talking about here, Uncle Ted, and another guy that acted apparently with Ted and her father were in plans of they're blowing the whistle on some kind of something. Like she doesn't have too many details. Like she said, we had this long conversation about this. And so the thing is that her father went missing at the same time that he left a few days before Uncle Ted's thing happened. And this happened not long after that. And like when they found out that her dad had died in that plane crash and wasn't a missing person, it drew up a whole bunch of other questions, because she said that she even grew up as a kid like knowing Ted Kaczynski and stuff herself and these other people that were in this plane crash, and she thinks that there was foul play in the entire situation. So
probably was, to be honest. When it comes to the government, they always on that bull.
Only the government can shoot you in the kneecaps and hand you a crutch.
They'll charge you for the crutches too. They're going to charge you for those crutches.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then say, where would you be without it?
She had told me that her dad didn't trust her dad was in the army with Ted or whatever, or in the military or something, like that's where they met. And then it went like he went on to work at the Pentagon, but he didn't he didn't trust the government. And she was like, they were all trying to expose something. And I was like, what the fuck did she just tell me? Like, we had this great conversation, and then like she vanished. Like, I get that a lot. People just vanish. I don't know if that happens to you and shit too, John, or what, but people deliver me some information. Like, I've had some wild information delivered to me. Like, I think the most shaking one for me that I was ever told was when I talk about the conspiracy of the space shuttle Discovery blowing up and saying that it was, there's some foul play, and I can find the people that are alive today and such, and that one usually pisses people off, but I don't mind talking about it. But I had a dude that me and him had a really lengthy conversation about how one of the chicks that were in that was one of his fucking regular clients, and everything that I was talking about it is 100% true because she's admitted to it and shit in therapy. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's the thing about things like that, is that it should even be almost triple verified. It's like, oh, this person did the research. Here's the
proof. Why would somebody lie? Why would somebody go out of their way to lie to you?
No. I'm not saying they lied. I'm saying it's like medical studies. When you do a study, you get these results, and you want to see if you did the work, you would get the results. So when multiple sources are confirming the validity of the story, it's creating new sources. That's what I meant. So creating a new source is actually a very valuable tool.
What? 8 out of 10 scientists agree of the impacts of COVID. Sorry, what was that? 2 out of 10 scientists have been removed from the verification pool. The science is settled.
Wow.
They settled him with a 45 to the bread.
Well, did you see the FDA members that kept leaving as they were voting to put it as schedule for children? Everybody kept leaving. Look up the amount of people that I think it was 4 of them left.
Yeah,
so,
and they were taking jobs with
they
were taking jobs with Pfizer and Moderna.
And then suddenly those objectors were not objecting anymore.
Yeah, they were getting paid.
It says
bigger-
it says there was two. I got two top FDA officials residing over the boosters and stuff.
Well, some protested it. Actually protested, and that was good. But that's all they can do is they can only leave. They can't say the truth. They
No.
know if they said the truth, their money will disappear. Everything will disappear. Their lives will be.
And them too.
Well,
I mean, they'll just destroy you financially. They don't have to kill you. They'll just push you to the edge to suicide.
and I think this is why I make it a point
Evil.
to be able to. I think it's important for people that are out there listening and stuff like that to be able to fend for themselves or find a way to have a barter system and stuff like that. Because like for me, like I don't care. Like burn down the chicken plants, burn, like I'm sorry for the people inside the cities that are having trouble getting things, but
This is Jimmy's business plan. Just everybody forget about
You-
everything.
you
I'm gonna have
chose
all the guns in the world.
you
I
chose
realize-
to put yourself inside of the city limits and make it to where you have no choice but to go to Ingles and get your food. How is that my fault?
I realize the polarity of that being where we are, Jimmy, that you and I are not really affected by this in any way. You know,
Oh, by
Savannah,
the way, the eggs here are now
Savannah-
$4
Savannah-
a dozen. They have gone
Yeah.
down here.
Savannah egg prices, while they may be hanging around $6.50, $7 an hour, go one town over,
There's $4.50 here.
there's $3.50,
It's-
$4 an hour.
I mean,
Yeah,
And
it's $390. It's
consequences.
$390 a dozen here.
I see.
Dang.
And this was in an expensive market. I'm sure if I could go online, I would find it for cheaper.
so if I continue to undercut everybody and
Well,
sell
what you
mine
do
for
is you just
$3,
go-
then I'm going to continue to do pretty well, huh?
You just go. What I'll do is just
Bring your
go
own carton
find-
and I'll cut you a deal.
Yeah, just go. I just go to the Amish. I'll just go to the Amish market and get 18 eggs for $250, $260.
Let me. I do want to rewind for a second. We've been on a deep conversation since everybody hopped in tonight, and I would like to throw a shout out here to Voila-Me and John, both for joining us this evening. I know both of you guys were having a rough week the other week when we had some plans, and I'm glad that we could work it out. It was ironic. Both of you were both having a bad week at the same week. So I'm glad to see both of you back on your feet and back to pushing the truth. I do understand how draining it is. I do understand how much of a mental instability it can add to your day-to-day basis because you're being fed so much crazy information all at once. And I can't tell you that it ever gets better, but I can tell you that taking those breaks are
Essential.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why I backed off and don't film every single night myself anymore. Like it's down to at least 3 nights a week because I don't want to drive myself nuts. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be
Yeah.
fun.
You start learning this, you like, damn, everything fucked up. Damn.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah. Dude, when it's funny because when you're a kid, you're kind of like, I've seen this before, but when you're a kid, you're like, oh, the police get to break laws, and you get a little bit older and you're like, oh no, they don't. They're just enforcing laws. And then you get a little bit older and you're like, oh no, the police are fucking scum and they're out there just fucking hurting people in the name of fucking extortion instead of actually protecting the people that need to be extorted. Like,
Yep.
Do you think
How
there's
many- how many
forces somewhere in the world?
the ones that don't, if you can show me a police force that has every murder and rape fucking solved, then I'll tell you that you got a good police force.
There, I'm not going to like promote them or like I don't want to give that impression that I'm for policing like this, but some of the countries like Iceland, Finland,
The Danes and the
yes,
Whistles and sticks,
they
bro.
have
their
they
education system
have
forces them
yeah.
to be educated.
they have a police force that has everything done right. But that is
The best version we can find.
yeah.
Whistles and sticks.
Okay, yes, but I mean, you have to look at the difference in cultures. We cannot model anything from anybody else and expect it to work here in the U.S. It's just It's not
Hell
gonna
no.
happen.
We can't even measure things without comparing it to some kind of animal or something. Like this thing's as big as 3 whales or some shit. Like we can't even use fucking measurements right.
Occupy Democrats has made it their
50.
fucking lifelong mission to compare the U.S.'s model for anything to the rest of the world. Like it's actually going to work.
The imperialistic measurement system is just we will do anything. We will do anything to not use the metric
Yeah,
system.
what was
but
that
hey,
meme I shared earlier that made
I
me
want
laugh?
to like go way off subject here, but has anybody heard or seen the news just like today that's come out today about the Chinese spy balloon that has been spotted over Montana?
It's just chilling. They just chilling there, man.
No, I didn't see that.
So when did China
Air Force is circling it right now with planes.
Well, I need to
over Montana.
Are they studying
over Montana's nuclear silos? That's where it's hovering.
So help me understand here. They have a plane observing something that's looking at mountains.
A spy balloon.
It's a weather balloon looking
massive balloon.
Because
and
it becomes massive because there's less density. So it was
a balloon
hot.
It got over
this
here.
Big will be this big up there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
so
Japan tried this shit. Japan tried this shit in 1943.
They're discussing whether or not they're going to shoot it down.
Yeah, why haven't they already?
They say it's not a threat. They say it's not a threat, but that makes me think they're scared to shoot it down because they don't know what the fuck's in it. That'd be my call.
They don't know what the defense.
Imagine?
What kind of defense?
It's a trap.
It has like
shoot it down and fucking some sort of biohazard falls out of it.
Yeah, that's what it. That's it right there.
I tricked you.
Gotcha.
Hey,
gotcha.
A particular video game I've referenced before has mentioned this.
Please don't tell me the one
Mass
word.
Effect.
Mass Effect.
No.
I was thinking you were talking about what was it? The
Mass Effect actually
destroyed?
mentioned this in the distant future that when the humans were going up against the Turians, they dropped a demo nuke into Turian space just because they didn't know who they were fighting. It's like giving a kid a loaded gun.
But see, regardless of like what is actually on that the weather balloon, this could have serious like ramifications of like you're caught on our home turf.
With your food.
Well,
not like we're not doing it
do
to
you
every
guys
other country in the
remember-
world. Give me a
Do you
break.
guys remember in 2020?
Fair point.
Seeds.
Fair
You guys remember
point.
the seeds?
I remember the seeds. I got
the
some of the
seeds.
seeds.
Did you plant some of the seeds?
I planted some of the seeds.
Man,
Psycho.
you would, dude. Man,
Of course you did.
gonna end
What
up like
was it?
little plant
Tomatoes?
shop
Huh?
of horrors.
Cherry tomatoes. Mine were anyway.
Do you
The
know?
little plant. What the little plant shop?
Are
of
you now an
horrors.
agent? Did you eat them?
No,
Yeah, Jimmy's
He
a
has
sleeper
converted.
agent now.
He's an agent, people. He's an agent.
I did not eat them, but I did grow them to see what they were, and they were cherry. The ones that I got were cherry tomatoes.
You made your goat an agent.
Yes.
Blue. They found out. Code blue.
Execute the order
Yeah.
66.
We now know how they did it. So they hired Jimmy through tomatoes.
They got him through the tomatoes. Classic.
You
He's
know,
George
Classic.
Bush, ladies and
Didn't the
gentlemen. We
Simpsons
got
do
it.
that?
Wait, is there a Simpsons
did you
episode
find
about
that
this?
clip?
That's the
God.
tobacco
Where they were
tomatoes.
addicted. Yeah, they were addicted to tobacco tomatoes.
Tobacco tomatoes. That's a great episode.
Tobacco
Jim Bob, I'm gonna
I don't know,
send you
man.
something
The only thing I'm an aficionado of is grilled cheese sandwiches. So
It's a good thing. It's
A
a
good,
good thing.
a
There's
good
nothing
grilled
wrong with
cheese
that.
sandwich
No.
there's a thing to be said about a good grilled cheese sandwich.
What is the perfect ingredients for?
I mean,
It has to be
Yeah.
a good sourdough bread,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
not like
Okay.
not like pre-sliced.
Describe the perfect methodology to prepare it and everything. Go for it.
that Alton
Yeah.
Brown video where he talks about actually doing it over an actual grill rather than doing it on a griddle top.
Do it on a cook it in a cast iron.
Yeah.
Cook it in a cast iron. mayonnaise. Okay, we don't use butter on the bread.
Inside before
Mayonnaise.
you start cooking it?
On the
No,
outside.
It's
On
in
the
place of
mayonnaise
butter.
on the outside
This
instead
is
of
the-
butter.
Yeah,
Okay.
mayonnaise
Oh,
instead of
shit.
butter
Wait,
because
you're
of the oil.
cooking? Okay, wait.
Yo.
Wait. My
Oh,
mind's blown.
mayonnaise.
And what?
Hey, well,
Instead of
Mayonnaise
butter,
is for
break,
cooking,
break.
not for a
yeah,
condiment.
mayonnaise
cook it.
crisps the bread so much better than butter.
Mayonnaise
It
is for
gives this
cooking.
crisps this
Amazing.
bread.
I will
So
die on
instead
this
of butter,
hill.
mayonnaise.
I will die on this hill. Mayonnaise is for cooking. Mayonnaise is not for slathering on a ham sandwich. I see you out there, like.
And
stop
if
it.
you want to get really
Hey,
down
man,
to it, you
I
use
like my pal.
Oh my god!
ham
What I
and
mean,
cheese
are
sandwich.
you
Hey.
a mayonnaise aficionado?
homemade mayonnaise.
Homemade.
Homemade mayonnaise. Okay.
When you
Okay,
got eggs,
I-
when you're
all right.
rich, when you're rich in eggs, you can make all the mayonnaise you want.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. But I'm still from South Carolina, and I'm still going to say Duke's mayonnaise is the goat, and
Because
I will
it's
die
real.
on that hill.
Well, no,
it's
I'll
real.
go with you there, but it's real,
So-
and that's the only one I'll eat.
The
That's
next
real, man.
thing that comes to the next part is what kind of cheese are you using?
Yes, that was
Okay.
the other part. What cheeses
Now-
are you guys looking at?
Now, I
Has
make
to-
cheese.
I'm a pepper jack guy. I don't know about
Pepper
anybody
jack.
else.
It has to
Pepper-
be a good melting cheese. It has to
Yeah.
be like a
True.
provolone, a Gouda, Havarti,
I
Oh,
make mine.
smoked
I
Gouda.
make mine in a 4 cheese.
Yeah,
You know what I wanna make it
cheddar,
out of? 'Cause it's
cheddar just
expensive?
doesn't melt
Manchego.
very well.
But how does manchego?
Depends on the
I
cheddar
don't
you get.
know. But
Manchego.
manchego
That I don't know. So
Manchego just-
pepper jack has the melting quality of cheddar. I think because its base
Yes.
is built on cheddar. But
it's
I am a
oil.
fan.
I mean, it has oils. They use.
It does. But I do love pepper jack. So I try to
Oh.
go a half and half with. I'll go with like like a white American or something. I try
Wait,
not to use.
isn't
plastic
American
cheeses.
cheese technically not cheese?
It's plastic.
Yeah, it's
but
plastic.
Have you
it's
guys seen the
plastic
date?
cheese.
Like,
It's plastic
why they call
cheese.
it American cheese when it's
Yeah,
like
Ugh.
it's plastic cheese.
We're not. No.
But
Yeah,
you,
pretty
you,
much.
but you can't beat that pull factor. You can't beat that
do you
melting
Northerners
quality.
eat American cheese? Do you guys in up north eat that trash?
Nah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely, I did.
Yeah.
In Canada, I
Absolutely.
mean.
Absolutely.
Well,
But-
I mean, John is
Wait,
just
wait.
basically a
But if
British
you-
American anyway. I mean,
But if you gave me an option, I would.
I'm
go
just a-
50 if you gave me an
You're
option,
just like
I would go Gouda and pepper jack. That would
Yeah.
be the
Here we
way
go.
that I would go. That would be the way I would go with it.
Oh,
You
mix
see
would
it
what
still
we're
get that
doing is
meltiness.
You know
But
what
we're
else mayonnaise
spreading-
might have done? Mayonnaise might have actually stopped you from getting COVID.
Yes,
very
The
yeah.
eggs.
The
It's all about
eggs.
the eggs.
See, we're
and
see,
egg.
what we're
And,
trying to do is spread awareness that mayonnaise is superior on a grilled
Yes.
cheese for crisp factor than butter.
And then
And
the
superior
eggs-
to vaccines, apparently. Straight up. Look at this fucking.
I mean,
like straight up. No, I am
Straight
so
up.
rattled today. This just fucking came across me. This study, if you look, was done in fucking 2020. Published online in
Yeah.
2020. Looks like it was updated in 2021.
Yeah.
So
They
this
knew
is the
about
thing.
this shit out the gate,
Dude,
my friends.
They,
Out the
They
gate.
knew how to solve a lot of these issues, and they were
Blocks the spike
intentional-
protein.
Yep.
Like fucking
Hey,
insane.
let's
man.
bring up the massive peer reviewed study
The
saying that
Lancet one that was
masks
sponsored
that,
by FTX.
that masks basically did nothing.
Oh, yeah, that one
Zero.
too. There's several studies showing masks were not effective.
That just recently though. I mean, this
There were
this
old
is
studies
like
showing that masks
Listen,
were
yeah,
not very
but
effective.
Listen, as
now they're
someone-
coming out with now though. I mean, this is just
As someone
we're,
who has had
we're,
to have
we're sitting here going, told you so. I mean,
As-
we
Told
didn't
you, man.
as,
told
as,
you so.
as
Yeah,
someone
I told
who
us so.
has been the cause of quite a few OSHA meetings. I know that handbook really well.
Yeah.
And because I know that handbook so well, it's funny to me that I was actually using the OSHA handbook in the beginning stages of all of this to fight my way at work, because I was like, it even states in the OSHA handbook that you don't need to be wearing this while you're operating this, or like I had like OSHA arguments as to why I didn't need to have this, and they, it still led to me ended up losing that job. But hey, I successfully kept that company closed for 6 days because
Power.
I refused to cooperate, and the manager really didn't want to let me go.
What the hell was wrong with them, and why don't you say the name of the company? Honestly,
It was Chronic Nissan in Griffin, Georgia. It was a Nissan, and they sent us all home from work and told us that we couldn't come back until we all went and got tested and brought our masks. And I was like,
I remember this. I came
Yeah.
to visit you when I had a couple days off. That was October almost 3 years back now.
And I was like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. And they're like, well, you know, this, that, and the other. And I started bringing up like actual rights and shit out of the Nuremberg trials and shit like this. And they're like, well, this is like a public safety thing, so all of that is suspended. And I was like, the fuck it is. Like, absolutely not. I'm standing my ground on here. And I was convincing other employees and stuff because they put us in a giant company-wide group chat. And I was laying out like laws that what they were doing was wrong.
So
and
why
shit
are you helping run
and
the good union said fuck over corporation? Really be a good union leader.
And they were like, you know, it rattled them so bad that they kept the Chronic Nissan, the Chronic Chevrolet, and the Chronic Dodge and Chrysler closed for 6 days over me and my fit and being a pain in the ass. And they were finally just like, they forced my manager to fire me because they were like, he's not going to allow us to continue.
The lawyers having discussions of what the hell they can do.
Yep.
What do we do?
Yep. That's exactly what that was, because they knew that I was onto their game.
Like, we have to think.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like I played their game, and the end result is they were like, they tried to play the Georgia's a right to work state. And I was like, you actually don't know what the fuck that means, do you? And I could have took it further, and I could even go back there and probably get that old hag for everything she has that owns the place. But like, why waste my time? There's too much bureaucracy to deal with in it.
Yeah.
I'd rather badmouth her. The old bat.
Yeah. You should throw a grilled cheese on her face. Since we were talking about
listen,
throw a piece of bologna on the back of her car on a hot day.
So her son will never get the business because he's doing life in prison for trafficking so much meth that you couldn't possibly believe it. And
we're talking like thousands of pounds.
She has full custody.
Regular Walter White.
She has
Walter White. Well, think about it, car dealers, dude. You guys don't know.
Car dealerships are
used
listen,
for
bro.
laundering money.
Car dealerships are some of the darkest, dirtiest places you will ever work in. 100%. Do not trust those motherfuckers. Like,
nope.
It is a dark
trust
industry.
those motherfuckers.
It is not what people think it is.
It's not.
Well, it's like mattress stores.
Mattress firm. Mattress firm, like
they launder money.
That is a weird rabbit hole to go down. That one little town that has about 10 fucking mattress stores all in the same block.
They launder money.
That's fucked up.
It's kind of obvious they launder money, and badly, because evidently they pay the right people off, so they're fine.
So this lady has custody of her granddaughter, and she's raised her mostly as her daughter. And this chick is exactly how you would probably think. And there has been many stories of when her car broke down or she flipped it and other things like that. And some of the other mechanics at the other shop going to help her, that she's just being a full-blown whore and shit like that. And like when she used to show up for her oil change, you would see fucking like giant ass bags of fucking drugs just laying in the floor and shit like that. You're just like, what's wrong with this fucking chick? And the first time I come across her, I was like, dude, there's like a fucking half pound of fucking weed here. And they were like, oh yeah, that's the owner's daughter. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, that's the owner's daughter. You'll get used to it. And I was like, get fucking used to it. Like, but then when you find out that like the manager of the floor, the sales floor and stuff, is probably doing so much cocaine that he thinks it's 1982 still. And you're just like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is just a bunch of crooked ass motherfuckers that will do anything to sell a car. I used to work on the cars that they brought in from like, when they take trade-ins and shit like that, and they want to put them back out and sell them. So I know firsthand the dirty shit that they will put back out on the road when I'm the guy that does the inspection and has a list and tells them this is what's wrong with this car, and they're just like, we'll fix these minor issues, and we're gonna put a sticker on it and sell it to some other schmuck. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? You guys are terrible.
That's
I
trash.
mean, that's part of it. The amount of cars that came out of Florida after the hurricane that they were selling, they were affected by water.
Oh,
and they
the
don't
flood
tell you
damaged
shit.
vehicles.
So this is what you do: you sell it to another market.
Yeah.
You take it as a bulk, so you know they can just wash it in with the good cars.
Kip McKee.
That's smart.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like selling wholesale. It's like selling wholesale.
but when you
Like
look at people,
houses, like
when you look at people like car salesmen and stuff who have a little bit of money like that, because those guys make decent money, believe it or not, even though they're as bad as
they're
lawyers and just ripping
assets to
people
move money
off.
around.
Think about how many people in these other high up industries that have money like that are doing these same exact things. Like, this is something that I think about all the time is, I see people that want to defend certain corporations of all kinds, and I'm just like, why? Like, fuck that corporation. Like, they walked all over millions of people just to get to where they are. Like,
Oh shit, man! I got a story to tell you, man. That I
Corporations
think
should
I told you this a little while ago about why Walmart could just all burn down to the ground, and
Fuck
like
Walmart.
we won't. There was a reason that Walmart
What did you make?
specifically hired like ancient old people to do like door greeters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, why?
There was
Why?
a
I've never known
scam.
why.
There was a scam that this is legit. That they would purposely take out life insurance policies on these old people without telling them they would die and collect. Walmart made billions of dollars before they were found out.
Oh, they were trying to do rollback death prices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rollback.
Yeah.
Black-handled knives.
They collected. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They was
That is
yeah.
the
they
most
was-
exploitive shit I have heard about.
That's
I've
why
heard about
whenever
it
I see a
before,
Walmart get looted,
but
I'm
the
just
fact
like,
that they
I
made that
don't
much
care.
money-
they got 132 Florida employees enrolled in it,
Wow.
and the insurance program died.
Yeah. That's why whenever a Walmart gets looted, I don't care.
Nope,
And
me
that's why
either.
whenever I see somebody stealing from Walmart, I don't
I
care.
didn't see shit.
It don't matter.
Yep. Don't care.
They make a $1 trillion a year. You still in the bar of soap ain't gonna hurt their pockets.
I mean,
Yeah.
the most expensive stuff is locked away. People can't access it.
I mean, there's I don't know, it just seems to me that places like Walmart is a great example. Like me and Bandit have this conversation quite frequently because I do not care. Like I seen them talking about all that stuff where they're the banana trick and how they're trying to fix that with the new self-checkout thing or whatever. And I'm just like, you've been trying to stop people from stealing from Walmart for years, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not successful. You're never gonna be successful. Like as long as there's
You're
a
gonna
Walmart,
be-
people are gonna be finding new and cool ways to steal from it.
You're the
Hey,
number one target. I mean, they are the number one target when like people were talking about these prices going up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
These people that are like professional at like mass looting of places, they're just like, your big stores, your big box stores are our number one targets.
Yeah, because they make dumb money. I got another fact about Walmart. A lot of Walmarts are close to railroad tracks, and the toy section is usually by the emergency exit.
All right, and I brought this up before too, Voila-Me. What if the missing people's posters in the front
It's a
is a
auction.
fucking
Oh
menu?
man, you said this. You said this before. We've talked about this before.
It's an
What did I
auction.
just hear? I mean, talk about
Explain this to Luis.
Human
Luis
trafficking.
wasn't here when we.
Human trafficking through Walmart and FEMA.
Yep. So let me ask you a question. Why did Walmart stop going 24 hours? People think it was the pandemic, right? What if they were trafficking in the middle of the night and somebody got caught and they cut 24 hours off because they didn't want to leave a trail? for what they were doing.
What
That
if?
is-
what-
That's a good
What if
what if.
hypothetically
Craziest.
there was this? What if hypothetically there was like this church that was maybe facilitating some sort of stuff like that? On another note, can you guys help me? Do you guys? I'm gonna need help looking up some stuff about a church. On another
You've
note,
you've come to the right group.
Which one of all of them? It's like everyone has to get one church.
ICOC, and that whole conglomerate. I'm just learning about them. Just been handed some very disturbing documents, and we're
What?
about to blow these motherfuckers up, guys.
What's
but
the
I need help.
location? I don't remember. California, right? Was
Yeah,
the main
California.
Case, but does it
Yeah.
expand beyond
Yeah.
California?
Texas.
700.
It looks to be wrapped into Texas stuff. This guy named Kip McKean seems to be front and center.
You imagine
pretty-
they accidentally found a real ring.
But I'm
This is
trying
what
to
that
just
brought
look
me
up
to.
like
Walmart is
that
the ring.
ICOC.
That's
Yeah.
what it brought
No,
me to.
I mean
Yeah.
Walmart is a ring. But look, if Walmart's a ring, which
It gotta be.
crazier things are happening. Crazier things have happened. Oh,
Yeah.
I just
Walmart
wanna-
is enthralled in human trafficking. How many corporations have done the exact same thing
Yeah.
for
Some people-
eons? It's
yeah.
not a new thing.
It's not new. Some people don't even know that the person who designed the layout of Walmart, he used to design concentration camps
Okay, I need
before he joined
Now what I
before
have
he
to see.
joined Walmart.
I'm not saying you're not wrong. I mean, you're not right. I'm just like, can I see the data on that? 'Cause
Yeah.
that could be very
If
like
he,
everybody has the same layout. There's nothing that's just Walmart doesn't have a special layout.
if you look at the layout of Walmart, there's 4 exits, 4 main exits. They have the little emergency exits, but the biggest exits usually have a gate or
Holy
some
shit.
kind of
Yeah,
front
but
of it.
that's more of a standard
Holy-
practice of design for security purposes in relation to scale. But it could be
Yeah.
other things. That's why I said like it would be interesting, but at the same
So-
time, it could just be old layout. So it's conjecture.
So apparently there is some truth to the fact that Sam Walton did do like the prisoner war camps and stuff for
Oh,
My man
that's
coming
even
with the-
worse.
the
Well,
military.
You
Coming
had
with the
to,
facts.
you had to put in that it was them.
yeah.
Yeah. Prisoner
You forgot
war
that part.
Yeah.
Then it makes sense.
Yeah, he was out here. He designed it in a specific way. You notice
How
whenever you
rich
go to
has this
Walmart,
family been? How long has
Prisoners.
this family been rich?
1800s. That's
'Cause I
long
know
ass.
the Waltons are literally the richest family in the United States.
Oh yeah,
the,
one of
the
them.
Waltons.
They're worth 500 billion.
Oh,
They-
yeah.
they- it's 4 people that are worth 500.
Not there.
People are
It's
like,
not
"Oh, they
500
can't
billion
coordinate that
anymore. It's
money.
not-
They can't
Around
coordinate that money."
215 the Waltons are worth around 215
Yeah.
billion dollars and are the richest family in America.
That's outrageous.
Well, people.
Second place
people-
is the Mars family.
Sounds like they need
the
some
Mars
freedom.
are that rich.
Some
too?
freedom from the people.
Yeah, for real.
This is the
Speak-
thing. This is a perfect example of why antitrust cases that are starting to come back. By the way, I love the good news. Antitrust cases are coming in, and they're coming in hot from all directions. Which I'm like,
Good.
finally, are we finally getting real antitrust cases? We're gonna see how they go, but we're getting antitrust cases now. Finally,
By
100
time,
years too late, but hey, it's
30
100 years.
Yeah, like you said. Speaking of cases, isn't Canada banning handguns? Didn't Trudeau?
Yeah.
just-
Oh Jesus!
Trudeau.
Yes.
We call him Trudeau
Yeah.
here.
It was pretty
Cas-
hard. to
Cas-
get hand-
Castro,
Castro
Jr.
Jr.
It was pretty hard to get handguns up here. Like not hard, but like I don't know.
Not if you have a
I
3D
feel like
printer.
cops. I feel like cops. Yeah, no, and I mean like whatever. You guys know my take on guns. I can do with them or without. I don't see the point of taking them, but I don't go out there and fanboy over them. The scary thing is what he tried to do, and I actually had a little helping hand in helping shed some light on it. Is during committee, the sneaky fucks threw in an amendment, and they wouldn't allow debate on it. But I still have friends that work up there on the Hill, and they told me, "Hey, look, check out this amendment." It was trying to ban every semi-automatic rifle and shotgun as well. So they almost snuck that through. We caught it. There was some pushback, and they removed that. So it is just handguns, but it's kind of redundant, to be honest, guys.
Who thinks like okay? So who do you think absolutely believes that this is a good idea? What is the real justification? Because I've never heard about logical.
People are scared. People are scared, and they actually believe they see y'all down in America, and y'all act a little nuts sometimes. So like, they see all the shootings happening, and they forget to attribute it to mental health issues, to poverty, to all that shit. They forget to do that. They just see, there's more guns.
Scary
There's
gun.
guns there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's the scary guns, right? And I mean,
and I want to.
That's part of it.
And it is, John. Thank you, because it's always good to have a outside set of eyes, external perspective. You being basically the loft apartment above a really cool party.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's it.
But see, it's good to have a good perspective, and I appreciate that. But see, also, and to go right along with that, what people fail to realize, along with mental health, we are a country that was founded on violence. Extreme violence. This country was founded. So, I mean, go ahead, Jimmy. I know you want to say something, man. You're like,
get in there, Jimmy. Get in there, Jim.
What is this bomb? Go for it, sir.
So, like the whole, you're right. We're founded on violence, and and the whole guns are bad. Okay, like whatever. Like okay. If you make it, I'll always say this: if you make it to a point where the only people that have guns are the people that are calling the shots, then you turn into fucking Germany again. Like I mean, it's just.
Australia just took 20,000 firearms from its citizens.
Listen, those guys
been going in a dark direction.
Listen, I love my Aussie brethren, but they got their ass whooped by emus, so they don't need guns anyway because they don't have the cognitive dissonance to do it. So,
can I just add this in, Jim Bob, too? Like, I'll just say this: I like what you're saying. All of what you guys saying, it's all valid. Let me break it down. Trudeau doesn't give a fuck about whether the guns matter or not. We just had a fucking a radio CBC journalist got fucking killed in Toronto. I think he got stabbed. So I mean, like, this happened 2 days ago. Like, Toronto's very bad right now. Fucking terrible. Are you
guys gonna ban pointy blades like they did in?
We're gonna ban it all, Dougie. We're gonna ban it all.
The UK.
So, but this is what I'm saying. Trudeau got elected on wedge issues. He picks wedge social value grandstand issues. So when the election comes around in a year, he's hoping there's a big shooting. And then he can say, wow, my conservative opponent here, he wants to keep those guns on the streets. And people will go, oh my God.
Sounds like
and that is
somebody we know down here.
And that is exactly what it is. It's nothing more than that. It'll go back and forth forever as long as we bicker about this shit.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they don't even try at this point.
They don't care.
It comes down to fear propagation. That is the hubris of which all politicians will die on.
Well,
they don't give a fuck who they have to kill to get there.
When it comes to the political standpoint of it, like the back and forth, like you're saying right there, I try to make it a point to say that it's always funny how the private sector gets a giant boom when it comes to gun sales when you get a politician up there that starts flip-flopping talking about guns and stuff. So you can't tell me that there's not a money incentive in doing that conversation. And truth be told, we've covered it time and time again. There's 400 billion something registered weapons floating around here, and like that in its own lets me know that I'm not too worried about many things, even if many of them are a bunch of little fucking jokes and LARPers, and they're going to get their free tax stamp for their new SBR because they're a bunch of fucking cowards. But like, it's it is what it is. Abolish the ATF because like that just shouldn't exist to begin with. Like that's.
I agree.
Jimmy, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah,
I got something. Piggybacking off, I was eating dinner. Sorry, so that's why I went on. Silent. Voila-Me, I found your guy. That was kind of misattributed, but that was your dude. He got called the Sam Walton of South America.
Oh,
but he got caught up in 30 years of fucking trafficking underage call girls.
Oh shit!
Oh my!
Yeah, that dude right there.
Damn.
That fuckhead.
There's a lot
Look
of
at that
bad
fucking
hombres in
shitty.
history, and people still don't.
Why are they
Yeah.
coming out of South America?
So
South
much.
America is a lawless hellhole.
You know, why does no, I'm saying though, why does grandpa
wrong.
why does
You're
why
not
does
wrong,
why does grandpa have a weird German last name from South America?
Klein. Klein.
Well,
I
he
wonder if he's
was
related
he
to
was
Ethan
Polish.
Klein.
He was Polish,
Ooh.
apparently.
Oh.
And
Who's
he,
related to Ethan Klein?
so, yeah, I
Who's
don't know.
related?
There's a lot
You,
going on.
you really
in
went
that- in
there.
that whole-
I like that.
There's a lot going on in that
That's
whole
good, man.
article. But yeah, apparently he was tied into like 30 years of trafficking through his business. That
Damn.
apparently was like South America's Walmart.
I mean, if
So,
you look at
like,
Ethan Klein,
That's fucked.
What
you
about
could
his-
pull up if you look at Ethan Klein next to that dude. They have they have a similar
The
build and a
same-
similar
the same
face.
build,
The
yeah,
same
Would it be would it be
turd, man.
knowing the
Damn.
things we know, like seeing all the stuff that like the human trafficking that's been going on for years, a lot of this weird stuff coming out of South America, the fact that we migrated all of these scientists over here that were doing atrocities during these times, would it be safe to say that maybe we aren't the winners of the Second World War?
Nope, we wasn't. So check this out real quick. Hitler actually escaped.
Oh
before
yes,
they
I've
got-
covered.
Oh,
I've
Jim Bob
covered.
knows
I've covered
that.
this
Jim
in
Bob
depth,
knew.
bro.
Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
We covered
Leader
this.
in that.
I mean,
yeah.
I actually,
he's-
I actually had John
Oh,
over for like an
go
entire
on.
episode about
He's
this.
got to get comfort. He's got to get comfortable. You
I
just
I could go on and on
there's
about that one.
There's
That's
FBI
the
doc.
one-
So
yep.
we even brought this up with some spiritual ladies on the show. Actually,
Yep.
like some seers, some people that can use some awesome superpower shit that make Bandit very uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
and they basically confirmed what we all fucking feel and know is that, yeah, bro, he died in the 80s down in South America, married to a black woman, actually, of all things.
Yep.
And people are like, what? And there's like, yeah, there's totally FBI documents that totally go along with this that were declassified. They spent millions of dollars tailing Adolf Hitler in South America because Russia is who killed him, and there's no proof of anything. And the skull that they have on display is that of a woman.
Yep.
So
speaking of Russians and Germans, how
I
funny
have it
is it
pulled up.
that later this year Russian tanks are going to be facing German tanks again?
It's
Let's
evolving.
go.
It gets
Let's
better.
go.
It's evolving just backwards.
Did you
I
not
think.
hear?
I don't
Was it
even
the
know anymore. What is
a member of the
what
government
yeah.
saying they're at war?
life anymore? I
Yeah.
don't know. What a fucking time we're in.
I don't. This is just getting weirder.
listen, I know history repeats itself, but why does it have to do the past 200 years and in the past like 2 years?
I mean,
So you know how
I
we
mean-
reboot movies? Why do we have to reboot the war?
I mean, even the people over at CERN are like,
Jeez.
man, I don't know what's going on.
story. Who's playing the simulation? It's somebody
Yeah.
just. It's a little kid.
It's a
He's like, I'm gonna
9-year-old
hit
kid with a
rerun.
dart at a board, and he is
Yeah.
throwing that dart, and wherever it lands is whatever we wind up with next.
Man, I'm telling you, this is getting out
It's
of
in
hand,
every
man.
single
It is.
war, including World War II banker wars. Why?
Yes.
Why doesn't? Who the fuck are these people?
But wait a minute.
Who are the bankers?
Do you know
That's
what
it.
happens
Who are the
after the
bankers?
Russians face the German tanks?
What
If
happened?
we're going to continue this, some bombs are going to get dropped.
I mean, Russian tanks are like antiques.
No, they're not. No.
Do you think it's- Okay,
Don't.
okay,
No.
but
They're
it's
antiques
not.
and there's Asian
it's
tanks.
not gonna
All
be the
good ones
Japs
are
this time.
destroyed.
It's gonna be Kim Jong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you seen the new T90s?
What? No, I'm pulling
Have
it
you-
up.
Have you seen the new T90 tanks?
Man.
Like
Russian T-90? No.
the Russian T90s compared to the U.S. military's M1 Abrams or the British Challengers or
Okay,
the
but this is the thing.
the German Leopards?
They, well, at least what I've seen, like they have used up a bunch of their good stuff already.
No, they've
That's-
used up trash.
Yeah, they good stuff is still in storage.
Have you heard of the horror stories of what
The
zombies.
Wagner PMC is doing to Ukraine right now?
Yeah, they're
I've
fucking
heard bad
shit up.
things. What
They're
the
fucking
hell?
shit up.
What?
Yeah.
So
Wagner
who arms
is
them. I understand there are private
They're
military.
bad dudes,
They're-
man. They're bad dudes.
But
They are
which one-
Western tier.
weapon
They are
are they?
Western. They could stand Western tier militaries, man.
Yep.
But who armed them?
So
It's
Outside
the Russian,
sources?
it's the Russian
The-
army.
the deal would
From my
be-
understanding, it is literally just the Russian army, but they kind of outsourced it so they can have a
The-
arm's
the-
length from the
so
atrocities.
Yeah.
correct. So the deal
Yeah.
with PMC Wagner is that officially on paper,
They're a
private
PMC.
military companies have
Yeah.
been outlawed inside of the Russian Federation, but that hasn't stopped PMC Wagner from operating outside of Russian jurisdiction.
Yeah.
To that end, obviously, and with that spicy video you sent the other day, man, it sounds like they put
Yeah.
an open call out to recruit U.S. soldiers.
But on top of that, there are videos of captured Russian or captured Ukrainian soldiers. They cannot go. I mean, they don't have night vision capability. They don't have modern body armor. They don't have modern weapons. They are getting.
Yeah, you're amazing.
They're getting massacred by Wagner.
It brought up
It's not even funny anymore, really.
So
But
why didn't they
for-
come up? Okay, my question is, why
for-
didn't they come out with it from the start? Why did they not
for-
use the
for
PMC?
for regular forces, this is not new for Russia. Okay, so they had to burn up the rest of the Lend-Lease program because they've already found M1927 and M1941 Thompsons in use, but they've burnt through the Lend-Lease program that we had with the Soviet Union during the Second World War. That's pretty much obvious since they're still rolling out almost 80-year-old hardware. But beyond that, it's military doctrine to send cannon fodder to basically sop up the mess. They've done this in the past. They did this during the first Crimean War. They did this in during the
They did this in the first and second Chechen War.
Chechen War. Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
They did this in the Iraq and Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. This goes back to supplying the NVA in Vietnam. This is your cannon fodder. Everyone else will come in and stop to deal
So
with the
there
mess.
is a reason why we are not sending Abrams till the end of this year. And there's a reason why Germany is not sending Leopards till the end of this year. And there's a reason why they're not sending Challengers until the end of this year. I don't think it's going to last much longer.
So,
This is
and
very expensive to move those things.
well, this
It's very, very expensive.
me and Bandit were talking about.
It
me and
really is.
Bandit-
It is. Yeah, definitely.
Me and Bandit were talking about this yesterday, and because bringing up the Wagner group and stuff.
It's just
So there's these stories going on that people are some of the people from Ukraine or whatever are saying that it's almost like they're fighting zombies, like it's like a zombie movie apocalypse, and it made me and Bandit think of the Attack of the Dead Men story, which was during World War One.
Got it.
Where
Yeah, they will literally turn any fight into a protracted battle of attrition just to come back and kill you later.
Yep.
Russian military doctrine does not care.
Well, and that's
And
what we got to talk about. Even, and I know
It-
Neptune will probably agree here, but me and Bandit were like,
hi,
I heard Bandit. I'm not trying to. I'm sorry, Bandit, but even you said you were like,
my dog says hello.
I wouldn't want to face the Russian military.
No, man, it's not.
My
They're
puppy dog
scary.
says hello.
You know what I'm
everybody.
saying? Like
She's
these guys are
wanted
a
to
different
get up
breed.
here.
I point to
It
history.
comes down to that. It does not matter about the equipment and the technology you have. It's the people behind the technology and equipment. If you have the most technologically advanced military in the world, but the people behind that technology and that equipment and those weapons are garbage tier soldiers, it does not account for anything. But if you have,
If you got people
Yeah.
who believe,
people who believe in what they're doing,
Yeah.
that will go the extra mile down to just your basic grunt on the ground behind mediocre great equipment, that is going to make up for the lack of technology, equipment, and weapons.
Look at Russia throughout history, or that area throughout history, and how many other people have attempted to invade them during the winter.
It's their ethos, man. It has been throughout history. I mean, regardless of how the war goes, and I choose to still not. I'm not choosing a side because honestly, I think as far as Russia goes, as far as Ukraine goes, just so I'm absolutely clear,
none of my business.
It's not
none of my business.
It's not my concern, and both of those countries can get fucked
Exactly.
for their political.
It's none of my business.
It is not my issue.
It was because of, and it's not a valid excuse. It was because of the deal we did, supposedly, that we are agreeing to, that we took their nuclear weapons out, and as exchange, we offered them defense.
Yeah, and
it's still none of my business. I know.
On our old contracts,
you know, politically speaking, thinking back to the START 1 treaty, which I stay very close to the subject of nuclear weapons research. Thinking back to the START 1 treaty, I think that was a geometric fuck up on Ukraine's part to say, no harm done. Okay, we'll give our nukes up. Okay, fine. Then go back to the Soviet Union or Russia at this point. But, you know, beyond all of that, beyond all of those things, what it comes down to from Russia's perspective is they will throw bodies at anything. If they believe hard enough, they won't quit until they are all dead. And history has proven that.
I mean, and come on, we've all seen the videos coming out of Russia where they're like training with bears and drinking vodka in the middle of the afternoon. So, like, those guys right there are pretty badass.
And propaganda or not, that is in their ethos. It has been for all.
But on a lighter note, you know, on a lighter note,
kind of don't want to talk about that anymore because that subject still just aggravates the fuck out of me.
All I'm gonna just say is, all that money we sent over there, they need to send us at least a gift bag and let us know how appreciative they are.
Yeah,
dude, I'll take an AK.
We need $20 billion for the Javelin missiles.
But let's take, on a lighter note, but let's take it a step further. Let's just none of the world's conflicts are our business.
Nope.
But you know what is? But you know what is our business?
No.
We were talking about this before the show started.
That's true.
You know what is our business? Panera. We need to do something about Panera bread.
Fucking should.
What's wrong with Panera bread?
I've got a little video here for you. And
we were talking about this before we
went
live.
I'm not going to share the whole video on here because it's like 18 minutes long. I actually like the way Neptune paraphrased it earlier because, you know, Luis asked a good question, like how much caffeine is too much caffeine? And apparently the Panera lemonade could frickin' kill you.
Really?
Yes,
well,
it has.
It's enough that if you drink a few, or if you have kids, they're gonna have cardiac problems, or they're gonna feel weird.
Yeah, somebody's gonna be seeing sounds if they drink more than one of these.
10, 15 cups of coffee. Tell me how it's gonna go. You can take 10 cups of coffee out of.
Well, you had the numbers earlier. I think
I probably drink that throughout the day.
Still at 600 or 800.
I think
grams of caffeine.
Yeah, like it's like ridiculous amounts of caffeine inside this thing. And like, let's be real, everybody. Panera bread is highly overrated. Like that's
trash.
It's like the McDonald's of like delis that you could go to and try to.
That's like the worst description of a place I could ever possibly think of.
Well,
you're welcome. Great value, Jason Deli.
I think the Waffle House feels cleaner.
The Waffle House does feel cleaner. I will gladly go sit in a Waffle House diner at 3:00 in the morning.
I could go for a bacon chicken melt right about now.
Damn right. Before I'd go sit inside of a Panera. And like, but the thing about it is this has to do with a lot of kind of the things we were talking about earlier tonight too, and like food regulations and like the crazy things going on with places burning down and stuff like that. Like these companies, these corporations are looking to profit. They do not give a flying shit about anything but that profit. Yeah, I hear people working in appliances. I hear people every day. They don't build them like they used to. You are absolutely correct. They don't build them like they used to. They need that profit. They need you to buy one every couple of years. And I just want to put a warning out there to everybody now. The current model of refrigerators is now filled with this stuff called cyclopentane and R6000 AC. And both are so explosive and flammable that we have to buy special new tools to work on them, because you are putting bombs inside your house buying a new refrigerator.
Can confirm.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Why did you not made a very viral TikTok about this, Jim Bob?
Because I don't know how to go on about it, really. So I figured I'd start talking about it here, if anywhere, because this is a thing that we discuss at work, is that I'm putting some
Send me
people
the chemical
people
breakdown,
used
I can
to
find somebody for it.
people it's basically like a propane. You have got a giant air thing filled with like a
Why would you
propane.
allow that? Like, this is regulatory wise. You're telling me it's so new, the technology, that there's no regulation around it. So they're just going to be like, oh, it's cheaper.
This is what
because
was
there's no regulation.
this is what was
Who in their
regulated.
right minds would put propane tanks in.
This is actually what was regulated into refrigerators, because Freon is dangerous for the ozone layer.
No.
Man,
The
come on.
replacement for Freon is not
Hey,
a dangerous.
that's
chemical.
basically the same thing as what they use as repellent for pan cooking spray.
And
Oh yeah,
but
that's an explosive.
you're putting. I've been trying to like comprehend this a little bit. You know, you used to hear stories, and I've actually seen it happen, of hot water heaters blowing up. You literally, if your house catches fire now, like your kitchen catches fire, get the fuck out of there, because if you have a newer model refrigerator, you have a ticking time bomb that's going to go launching through your roof.
Man, I'm glad you told me, so I know to watch out.
Roll your refrigerator out and see if it has the name cyclopentane on the back of it. The cyclopentane is part of the insulation part, and the R6000 stuff is this new propane refrigerant propane-like refrigerant that I'm telling you is turning your refrigerators into bombs. People are like, what? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but this is the truth. So like,
that sounds scary.
What's the brands that use it the most? Do you remember?
every brand that we carry are changing to it,
Okay.
because it is new
So,
regulatory.
Jimmy,
Name
I've got a
GE, Whirlpool, Medea, Bosch, Frigidaire. Like if you've got these refrigerators since the middle of 2022, if you have gotten a new refrigerator since the middle of 2022, yes, you are getting this new stuff inside there.
So we haven't heard about accidents yet because it just started.
Yeah,
the rollout of the stupid just started. Oh God.
Could you imagine going to your refrigerator to grab a sandwich and then your refrigerator take off?
Congratulations.
Finally, the joke is your refrigerator running? No, it flew off.
No, but it will be momentarily.
Your refrigerator's running.
All right, so cyclopentane is a highly flammable oh man, I can't read, so I'm gonna pull this
on
up.
screen. Put it on the screen.
Because Jim Bob is the worst at pronouncing things. Hydrocarbon chemical.
It's not a good sign for the rest of it.
So that's the cyclopentane, and then the what is it? It's R6000 A or something, or P, or which one is it? There's a couple of them. The R600A. It's an isobutane.
A butane.
Oh, I mean, no. Oh, great.
Oh,
so those are the two chemicals that now are in the inner linings of your refrigerator.
In the refrigerator too. It literally is orange like
that's
that.
That's a refill can. Like that's what I actually carry on the truck when I have to give you a shot of it to keep your refrigerator going. Which I'll be honest with you, I don't want to do this one. I'm okay doing the Freon, but I don't think I want to mess with this one.
So okay. So this is the thing. I don't know. I haven't checked the volatility framework. So these chemicals have a volatility value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things like gasoline have a very high volatility. Like it depends on the type. I'd like to explore what the volatility is in comparison to similar, like what's propane and the volatility, just to have a comparison framework. It's like If all the propane is 57, then this
But
one's
now,
like
but now,
59.
but now every refrigerator I put my hands on has multiple warning stickers about flammability and explosive.
Really?
Mm.
Take a picture
And
of
that's
all
not
of
so.
them.
I'll take a picture of. We'll talk about this again soon, and I'll take a picture of it to share on here. But like,
Definitely worth
there's
showing people. It's like because you can
like
see
it's
refrigerator. Not everybody can access. Like, let me look at the back of like 30 refrigerators.
and
But you
and
can.
and so like seeing all these warnings, it started getting me questioning it and stuff. I'm like, why are we making bombs for refrigerators now? And like, there's got to be a better way to do this. I think there's a better way to go
It's too
about
expensive,
this.
Jim Bob.
I understand it's too expensive.
That's
I
why.
understand.
That's the
But you know,
excuse.
I'll give it to Canada. They bought this they bought a washer and dryer company years ago, and actually Jody was telling me about this since he's from there.
Some people.
John, are you okay, buddy?
John,
I am arguing with my doctor buddy right now. So fucking hard. I can't even. Anyways,
What are you arguing with him about? Is it because of like, you know,
the egg yolk
stuff?
thing. I texted him the stuff, and he's just like, very and he's not. I mean, I trust him. He says it's very like early stage. It's basically a petri dish test. It doesn't necessarily prove anything. How are we going to use it as a treatment? And like blah blah blah. And then he said that it wouldn't work that way. And I said, well, can you explain it? And then he's like, well, I don't really fucking care anymore, man. I said, well, that's fucking bullshit. You need to care. You're the one brain I know that can fucking understand this shit. But you're so fucking just done with all this shit.
They have a point that it's you would have to replicate it, because I remember that part is that when it's tested up that type of testing, we don't know implementation. So yes, they could have investigated it further, and they did it, and that tells you something.
Okay.
Well, that's what I said to him. I said, would it not have been worth looking into further? And he said, well, no, obviously not, because they didn't do it. He's like, they would have tried if they made money. And I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't as profitable.
Yeah. They don't know about the system. They think that the system relies on the idea that they're looking for a cure. I'm like, are you stupid?
Yeah, no, it's looking for fucking money.
This is another one of those one of those.
It's all good, Brett.
Thoughts.
Just shut up.
You know, that's why I get into the kick of natural living and using herbs and stuff like that for ailments, because I stand by that. Yes, if you ingest this stuff, it's there here on earth to help you and make you better. Like, it's not supposed to all be relied on some kind of pill that's made out of petroleum, whether or not it's antibiotics that have been extremely what is it, concentrated or whatever. Like, you can get the same things, believe it or not, from your fucking spice shelf. Like, eating garlic on a regular is highly recommended. I will throw out garlic, grapefruit, and like real salt, like not your bullshit salt, but like Celtic salt or kosher salt or something like that.
Yeah.
Those three minerals, and maybe throwing in some extra magnesium or something, are so important for your body, like alone, that you can see the difference in staying healthy. Like, I don't get sick, knock on wood. I didn't have any of this nonsense the entire past couple of years that's been going on either. And I'll attest it to the way I kind of carry myself. Like, I'm in trouble tonight because I've been kind of lenient the past few days and like haven't been eating much of lunch and just kind of grazing and stuff. I've been in a little bit of a fast trying to clean myself up anyway. So it's always good for the body every now and then, because you can tell when things get out of whack if you've been gorging too much. And I always say there is way to reverse it and stuff. Like, you can don't ever think that you've gone too far, but also don't buy into diets. The word diet is a fucking sales pitch. Like, I don't care how much you tell me that the word diet is a sales pitch, because no one diet works for every single person. Like, this is the same with medical stuff. You can't keep blanketing people, because I will die if you give me penicillin, but yet it's a miracle drug for so many others.
Yep.
So like, you can't, I think this is a great example of why you can't blanket things that you are intaking into your body regardless. Like, there's things that are out there for you to help you that can stop diseases. I truly believe that there are foods that can stop diseases and reverse things like cancer and your acidity and stuff like that. But there are also
soursop.
Oh, dude, I've got some stories and have some friends that I turned that on to that have some stories and their family that members that are still alive. Like that, soursop is some real stuff. And like,
It's
What
the
is it?
real deal.
What is
it's
it?
a soursop fruit. Listen, I've recommended it
What
to
type of fruit
people.
is it?
It's a like a tropical.
10,000 times better than chemo.
It's
Proven.
a
Scientific.
tropical fruit, yeah. And it took. Listen,
Could you
my
send me in
work
the chat later? I'd like to look at it.
my work partner's mom made the choice between chemotherapy and soursop fruit, and she is completely free of cancer and didn't put any poison into her body and did an
Hell
excellent
yeah.
job of reversing it all within a year of just getting on this regimen of cleaning up the way she ate and putting the soursop in her diet every single day.
Mhm.
Did you guys
And
hear
also,
that? Well,
oh, real quick, a quick antibiotic you can make at home. You take garlic cloves, put it in a mason jar, add some turmeric, some
Mhm.
black pepper. You can chop an onion if you want
Mhm.
to, and you set honey on the inside. Close the lid, put it in a cabinet, let it ferment for a couple of days. You got your own antibiotic. Super simple.
I add ginger and cayenne pepper.
Yep. Ginger and cayenne works too. Yep. You
And
know what's up, Jim.
we make the same stuff here. Like if you start feeling bad, that's the go-to before going and buying something off the shelf. My go-to, if I even have a scratch in the throat, is a shot of warm whiskey with a little bit of honey and lemon in it, and I'm usually good to go. Especially if I take a double.
the
That's the best medicine.
the country of Georgia, I think, are the most into this other type of technology related to curing people. It's really interesting. So there is alternatives to antibiotics, bacteriophage research, and like there's things that we're playing around with bacteria that we're curing like a billion different things, but it's not. There's not enough research outside of Georgia. I think it's the country of Georgia, they're the best at it. But we found cures for diseases in the weirdest of places. In truly the weirdest of places.
Well, I mean, there's and see,
Gentlemen, I gotta duck out. I'm so sorry. There's shit going on here.
Hey,
no,
yeah.
it's okay, my
Do what you
buddy.
do.
I'm glad that you were able to join us for this evening, and I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to hopefully seeing you again next week.
We'll set it up next week proper.
Where can everybody find you until then? Of course, you know I got to get that plug in.
Yo, and I'm gonna message you, Jim Bob, to ask you about how to fucking look up individual political donations. There's got to be a way to do that.
Oh yeah, there is.
I'm sure
There is.
I'm sure there is.
OpenSecrets.org.
What is it?
OpenSecrets.org.
Okay, I'm already on that site. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, brothers. All of you, take care. Stay safe, stay informed. I've got to go. I'm dealing with shit.
Rock on,
Love
brother.
y'all.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you
Take care.
soon, man.
Peace.
Of course, for me, you guys make sure you go over there. I will have John's links as I always do. You can follow him all over the place. He's always full of good, fun information, guys. He makes some pretty awesome videos, and I like his satirical look into a lot of things. As we were talking on the last episode when Lowell was here, comedy holds that special place in my heart to make a lot of things happen, because I think I can break through your skin suit and get to your insides if I can make you laugh. And that's just, I see other people like John doing that, and even Voila-Me. Like, listen, y'all, I it's early on the plug because I don't think we're wrapped up just quite yet. I know we got a few more minutes to go, but Voila-Me be sharing some of the funniest shit I see on Instagram, man. Like, you guys got to make sure you go
Oh
over there
yeah,
and follow them there.
the video from New York. I need to meet those people. I need to go find them. I need to shake their hands. I need to say thank you. We need 100 of you. How do we make 100 of you? And then we have 1,000 of you. And then we have 10,000. And guess what happens when you have 10,000 people screaming, "Do your fucking job"?
Oh yeah, that video that I sent you about them dudes going off
Guess
the
what?
rocker, man.
Politicians start doing their fucking job. There's
Yeah.
so many situations where out of the blue, in literally 2 days, they do what it takes 5 years to do. 2 days.
True. You're not
wow,
lying.
they magically learn how to create laws.
Oh, you know how to write. You know how to actually do your job. You get paid $250 million a year to do type of shit.
What is it? So no, the best part is all these people in government, they get a lifetime pension. So
Lifetime.
okay, so get this. You get
They
into
basically
Congress
get their
once
pay for the rest of
for
their lives.
$180,000 a year after that. Okay, you serve your time in Congress 2 years. You literally took your hands and you sat on top of them, as many of them do, and then walk away and take the pension for life.
Mhm.
Oh, and you also get Cadillac healthcare for the rest of it. So
Pol-
you get the
politi-
healthcare where they will go to China,
PolitiFact is trying to
extract
tell you that's not
organs
true.
for you. Like
Bill Clinton made sure of that before he left office because he also
he gets a heart or something. I don't know. I'm joking.
Yeah,
he might have gotten
he-
a heart surgery. is what I heard.
Clinton made sure policymakers got their pay while he also turned off salary for life for presidents, though that was undone when W came into office and he
He's like,
wound
I
up
need that money.
reenacting it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like
I need that money.
Every single one of the fact check sites popped up when I typed this in because
What?
they're
What
so
did you type
truthful
in?
about the pensions from Congress or whatever.
That's true. There's no.
Yeah.
There's
Listen,
no
there's every single fact checker that you see on Facebook and Twitter and beyond trying to say, no, it doesn't happen until they've been there for 5 years.
Yeah, right. The fact,
show me
the fact-
one politician that
need to be
show
there
me
5
one
years.
politician in Washington D.C. that hasn't been there at least 5 years and doesn't try to live out their entire life in that fucking shithole.
getting free money.
Fucking
was
right.
off by a few
Welfare
years, but
babies.
Still,
No,
those are the biggest welfare babies.
well, no, it's
literally.
funny because that's what they said. The conspiracy theory is that people are saying that it's after 2 years of service they get it, but it's actually 5. It's just like, wait a minute, how the fuck is that
it's
any
still
better?
bullshit.
Like that's still
Yeah.
bullshit. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
No,
there's
it was wrong. It wasn't 2. It was 5. Who cares?
politician. If political government politician places need to exist, they should absolutely 100% be a voluntary thing, and you should have to keep your fucking day job.
Yep.
You know
like,
the
you-
amount of non-work they have. So that's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't work. most
It
of the
should
time.
be a minimum wage job.
They should meet for minimum wage when they meet.
No, I mean that's gonna also okay. I can't. Okay, so I will
Listen,
disagree
if they're gonna
on
make
that.
the minimum wage, then
No,
that's
so-
they should be what they make.
This is the thing. The cure for this disorder is lobbying. You have to ban lobbying. It's
Oh
not
my
rocket
God, dude. No,
Sure.
no
science.
joke,
It's the
man.
framework of it. You
Yeah.
gotta Doug, let's target one thing.
But show me a
Lobbying.
politician that isn't getting into it isn't getting into
The
it.
there are millions of dollars they're gonna make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make
It's
millions
all
of dollars. The thing
pay
is the salaries
for
need to
Play.
you can de-incentivize this just by taking away lobbying. That's the only thing you need to do.
For real. Honestly.
I mean, it's
lobbying-
bribery. Why
thing-
is it called lobbying? It's
thing-
bribery in the rest of the world.
That's it. It's
Yeah,
bribery.
it's lobbying.
You take away
That's why I joke
lobbying,
to
the
people and I
entire
always
thing
say,
falls apart, which
We're-
I'm
we're
fine
just-
with, by the way, for the record. But
Same.
you take away lobbying, the whole thing just collapses.
That's what I mean. That's it. If there's one solution for all these problems, it's lobbying. You have to
Yep.
ban lobbying. And
Lobbying is
we
really
have the technology and the capabilities to make all these systems actually function. It's all
They
possible.
do.
It's all
If
It's
they took
unimplementable.
away lobbying, our politics would be night and day difference.
Why
We're
don't
proud of-
why don't politicians get to wear like jackets like the,
I
like the
love that
NASCAR
idea.
dudes
Put
got?
us stickers for
And
all
put their sponsors
lobbyists.
on them. Like that
Like
should be.
BlackRock would have logos the size of people's jersey numbers in the back. It's just
They
like
would have a cape.
BlackRock. Yeah, BlackRock cape. It's a cape. You should just walk around. Oh my god, that would be a great sketch or something. It's like a
Apparently,
BlackRock cape.
my dog has decided to make herself a permanent fixture on tonight's episode.
So,
So
That's
she said
fantastic.
hello again.
Unconstitutional Awakening the pup.
check this out. The U.S. Defense Department has announced just now that it will allow the balloon to continue to float above the United States rather than attempting to shoot it down.
I need to ask
So-
Lyman about his feelings about this balloon.
So NORAD was just defeated by a weather balloon.
You got all the millions of
So-
dollars in the defense
Yeah,
system,
there's
and
a
you got a
dollars
balloon
later.
in the
So,
sky. Come on, bro.
What they
Just fly on the
really think
balloon.
I mean, in one hand, that's funny that they think that there's literally floating Winnie the Flu inside of that balloon, that they're afraid to risk shooting it down, to
Then
risk a fucking toxin getting released into the atmosphere.
Well, I mean, it's just
But-
you really just don't know what the
It's
defense
seeds.
mechanisms
It's
are.
all about the seeds.
But in all
Yeah.
seriousness, though, you just
you're
have
all
no
beautiful,
idea
John.
the defense mechanisms.
they're coming for my tomatoes.
I mean, well,
You
My
guys
tomato.
remember?
You
I
actually
don't
mean,
think there's something inside of it?
I don't wanna-
seriously, no, I'm not kidding, man. Think about this. The Russians put an armed space station into orbit.
Mir was armed.
Not the Mir.
They got a satellite cannon.
They had an armed space station. That is no joke.
The Admiral Gorbachev or whatever.
So no, dude, that's the aircraft carrier that's caught fire like a dozen times.
That's just what came up when I put that in there. Dead serious. I'm dead
talking
serious.
about that Soyuz rocket that's got loaded, ready to launch.
No.
ICBM.
It was
Armed Russian spaceship. Search results are that. So that's a spaceship?
That's a Russian ship. They're not going to say spaceship. Space station.
Anyway, go on.
That's great.
But see, you just have no idea the defense mechanisms that could be in place. What could be on that?
True.
Almaz.
What could be up there?
I'll reach, but I don't want to go into this subject tonight. But you guys remember the Black Knight satellite as it was dubbed by the
Yes.
US Air
Oh my
Force?
God.
They believe that was Chinese tech that was, that had.
Oh, I don't
capability,
think they
but-
know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've
The
heard
Chinese,
disputing rumors that it could have either been foreign, as in
Oh, it is
not-
foreign.
yeah, for sure. But I've also heard theories that it could have been a foreign nation that put
Why
that
don't they
artificial
capture it?
satellite in
Why don't they
orbit.
capture the satellite?
Let's
I
be
don't get it.
let's
Why don't
be
they capture
real. Let's be real.
It's pretty big. It's like what 12 ton. They've estimated it's like 12 tons.
It was probably just our parole officers checking on us on this prison planet.
No, but this is the thing. No, I'm asking a dead serious question.
The
If
wardens.
there's all confirmations, we know it's orbit. First of all, I've never seen people talking about what its actual orbit is, but I'd like to understand what its orbit is, how many times it goes around, what altitude.
You can look
is.
it up.
I have to look it up, but I've never seen
Oh.
anyone discussing any of those points. So I wonder how easy it is to find it.
Yeah,
Could be
that's a
about
good
the
question
distance.
because there's only like 2 living images of that thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like I'm not saying I'm not debunking it. I'm not trying to play that. I'm more
Yeah.
like I'd like to actually learn the details because
Oh, it's just one of those things that's
Yeah,
up
that.
there. It's just one of those things that's up there. We know it's up there, but we kind of just don't talk about it.
Like our president.
Yeah.
yeah.
our glorious leader.
Shit. That Black Knight gonna activate one day. We gonna be looking up. What's that? Laser beam.
It cuts a hole right through parts of Argentina, like in the Starship Trooper. You remember Starship Troopers?
Yes.
They attack
Yeah.
Argentina through a laser or something. I'm like that.
No, it was
That's
an
like-
asteroid.
No, but,
Is-
but I think what happened was that they might have made a false flag. It was I think the story was kind of pointing out. It was potentially a false flag. And we just wanted to take over the planet for some resources, and the insects are there.
Interesting. Okay, I'll dig
Yeah.
that.
Starship Troopers. I mean, I know I have to go into the story more. Like the books are not like the movie. The movie is close, but I mean, it's interesting. He was criticizing fascism,
Mhm.
he was criticizing the military-industrial complex as well. And that's the beauty of the movie. It's actually like political critique hidden in parody that nobody noticed.
Here it is.
People thought it was glorifying the Nazis.
That's
That's
the
its,
Black Knight?
that's its orbital path.
Apparently.
Interesting.
It's something there. It's something there.
Interesting. I wonder if it ever has been recorded to change.
I don't know, but I did find this.
That's
so
interesting.
That
This is the thing. They can change, but to what degree?
If it changes orbits.
But no. So you can change orbit because things can decay and
Yeah. I got that part, but I'm just saying, how often?
Yeah, exactly. That is a great question.
Exactly.
This is something worth keeping up with, just to track its
the Earth's core stopped moving, so
and it's supposed to flip and go backwards. It's supposed to go backwards.
Okay, but see, when you dig into that, all right. So I dug into that, and they said that it
does that every once in a while.
They said that it come to a stop or that it just restarted in like 2009 after stopping and going in reverse, like prior to that. And there was a time that it completely flipped its direction in the 70s or whatever. But
does that affect us? It's the thing. Even energy fields wise, does that affect us? We don't know.
But how are we giving information on something we've never physically been able to see?
Exactly.
But see, the thing is, that goes along with the same aspect as like, how do we know that there is a supermassive black hole 45.9 billion light years away from us?
No, million, not billion. You're talking about the center of our galaxy.
No, there's a black hole. It's like 45.9 billion light years away, or billion.
Oh, you're talking just to like the furthest known black hole potentially.
Yeah. How do we know that that's
a
even
ridiculously high distance? You're right.
Yeah,
but it's probably very massive.
Yeah, but we've never seen it
at all.
Oh, we can detect it.
But I'm just going. Theoretically we can. I'm just saying that we're going in the same direction as like, what does the center of the Earth look like, and and what's it made out of?
Journey to the Center of the Earth was a journalist documentation, not a made up story.
For real though. That was a documentary, for real.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'll stand by that.
Didn't mean to open a wormhole.
A wormhole. Not a can of worms, a wormhole.
No.
We're to the center of the Earth. Let's go.
It's been get
the shovel, Jimmy.
It's been grand, Neptune, actually, because I know you've been a busy man and you're working your way where you can involve yourself a little bit more. So I'm glad for that. I'm glad that you're progressing yourself and in life and such. I'm proud of you as a friend. Like, I see things you got going on and shit. So I know you're busy, man. Like, so I appreciate you being able to jump on here with us tonight. So
yeah, man. Glad to be here as always.
It's totally always worth it when you get to pop in, because I love your output on things. And I also love the face you make when I say the words microplastics, because you get just all fired up and ready to
remember the Deutsche DW. They made a documentary about plastics that they're everywhere, and they had to edit out. I believe it was, because I remember it was Nestle. They mentioned Nestle. They had to edit that out, and they called it testosterone problems. So they basically went from it's killing us to it's just affecting our fertility.
No, it's killing. They recently, I think last year,
not the single-use plastics. We're talking a much bigger scale, and we can fix it, and we're not doing anything about it.
I know they're saying that we have so much plastic in food. They're talking about making a new scientific position just for the measuring of plastics within a human body.
Oh God,
that's how much plastic we take in. And I was like, I saw a video yesterday on TikTok. This dude bought eggs from Walmart. He cooked them sunny side up, and there was a plastic film over his eggs. And after he cooked them, there was just straight plastic all over his eggs.
Interesting. I mean, eggs are people don't realize how easily eggs could technically actually be tampered with. This is another one of those reasons that I like to get my own. Like, it's not that far-fetched or hard for somebody to tamper with something like that. And it's not like our government or anything would ever funnel crack into the inner city or anything, so we shouldn't be worried about them trying to mess with our food either. So
yeah,
like that crazy
that never happened, Jimmy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that never happens.
Contra.
American Gangster was not a documentary.
For real, that was.
You
That's
know,
so funny.
we had actually.
It's kind of like the biggest parody of a documentary.
You,
Like,
you
it's
missed
like,
you missed it the
aha,
other
we're
night.
all cool.
You missed it the other night. I actually had
I
the
know,
author
I
of
can't.
American Gangster
Yeah.
on here, the guy that wrote the original book. I didn't
I
realize
know,
this
it
when
was
I
amazing.
invited him on here. Like this was a bonus. And we got to talking about a lot of these stories and stuff that he wrote, and he said, yeah, there's a lot of things in here that are completely not real, but he is like, there's a lot of things in here that are completely based on real life events. And that led into us telling him how his short stories for a newspaper totally led to the show Taxi. And he was part of the group that got to like pick the actors and stuff like that. And he got to meet everybody. And it was a really good conversation. He was a really cool guy.
The show Taxi, the one that was popular comedy show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was
a fascinating fellow.
And he was super fascinating.
That's a good show.
He was,
you're referring to the guy that wrote the book around Frank Lucas?
The guy that wrote the book around Bill Cooper and the Lampshade as well. His name is Mark Jacobson. Like I found him because of William Ramsey, and I found him on some conspiracy stuff. And then when I got to talking to him and learning more about him, he turned out to be even cooler than it seemed to be. Like that episode's totally out now. You're always welcome to go back and check that out. But he was telling, he's another one of those that I call, and Bandit will know what I'm talking about, I call him a unicorn, because he'll flat out tell you that he's liberal, but he's not the liberal person that you think, that when you think the word liberal nowadays, or as he says, he called them neoliberals because of just their stance on stuff. And he has worked for every media company there is. This is an older fellow, like he's laid up in age, and he even currently still does some editing work for the New York Post, and was telling us how a mixture of the internet and parapolitics kind of made journalism go array. Like he's a really cool dude. It's totally worth a listen. I think it was a little bit of different direction than most of our episodes, but it was fun. I'm sad that Bandit and Luis were not a part of that because it was fun.
Oh man, hold on, I gotta come back on. Oh man, Sir Jim, I'm gonna have to head out, my friend.
No, you know what? I think we're getting about time to wrap up. I'll go around the table and start getting everybody's final thoughts for the evening. I'd like to start with you. You can give your plugs and anything else you got going on that we didn't quite hit too well. What you got for me for this last thought?
Okay, you can find me on linktr.ee/VOILAME. That has all my links. You can find everything. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, the podcast I've done with Jim Bob. It's right there on my Instagram, right there. That link right there has all my links on it. You can check me out. I have a lot of conspiracies. You can see 10,654 posts. I've been doing this shit for a hot fucking minute.
You're grinding, man. I respect it.
But
and for all your funny shit that you post.
Sir, are you a human or a machine?
I am a bioman.
That's right. No, I mean I used to pump it out as hard as that too, and if I wouldn't have lost so many profiles, there's probably just as many posts out there that do belong to me too. Like I understand, like, and it's good to get that word out there, and I appreciate the hard work and efforts you put into doing it. And I love the fact that you add my favorite flair, which is laughter. Like I'll always cover this and I'll always say this. You might hear me beat this horse to death, but you can get through to a lot more people if you can make them laugh than you can any other way. Like just making somebody giggle makes them put their guard down a little bit more, and you can maybe actually have a good conversation. And that's why I love stand-up comedy. So
I appreciate it too. And I appreciate you having me on again, man. Y'all have some good conversation topics tonight. I'm gonna go research.
We do what we can.
I'll always have them links and stuff up for you, man. As long as well as your links, Voila-Me. I make sure I share his links over there on the show too, man. Like that's gotta show the love, man. Especially to these folks that are out here just supporting each other, doing what we're doing. So I appreciate you, bud.
We gonna survive, man. But I appreciate you having me on. I hope y'all have a good night tonight. Y'all be safe. Watch out for those balloons. They might fall on you. You never know.
Right.
But y'all take care.
You too,
y'all
bud.
take care.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, hey, take care.
Neptune,
That's funny.
you got any final thoughts for me before we leave tonight, Neptune?
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Dr. Theodore Kaczynski.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I mean, oh man, I gotta say, you did a good job at making our buddy Harry uncomfortable when you brought that up, but I think you actually broke his shell when you did that. He came around after you busted that one on him, man. Like he was like, well, maybe so. Like, oh shoot. Bandit, you got any final words for me tonight?
I'm just glad to be here.
I'm so
As
glad you were
always.
here too, man. It's always fun to have you on, man.
Oh yeah, man. It was good.
When you're not in here, I look for you. So I'm not even gonna lie. People can probably see it in my face.
It gets uncomfortable.
Oh man, but hey, I appreciate you guys definitely. Like I don't know if I say it enough, but you guys help me make this happen. So I do appreciate you guys as much as I can, and I'm thankful that you guys are aboard for sure, and including my buddy down there, Luis, the most mysterious man in our group. We joke about it sometimes because you're the most interesting man in the world, bro.
I'm actually
Like,
a computer generated avatar.
Sometimes I wonder, man, there's something going on here, bro.
Why that wouldn't
I'm a
surprise
prototype
me.
model. I'm just
He is
confessing.
an enigma.
I'm a prototype model. That's why you never see me in the real world. I'm a prototype model. Still in beta, but we're testing it out. And we got to test it out in audiences that will create continuous questioning. And if you think about it, that's how they're going to test artificial intelligence.
I don't doubt it.
That's
They have to have a sample size.
Test it when they literally can put it into the population, and people will be able to tell which one's real.
Great, Luis is a computer.
Very detailed degree.
I've been talking to the Terminator this entire time.
You got it. You got to make him look real. You can't make him look perfect. Are you kidding me?
So good though. No, but everybody. Of course, I've got links to not only our guests that joined us this evening, John and Voila-Me, but there's even links over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com to keep up with Luis, Bandit, and Neptune on social media. We're always sharing some stuff throughout the day. Get your fix of something funny and something good to laugh at. You can find us at Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast, on Twitter and on Instagram, as well as Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates over there on Facebook, and Defeat the Media over there on Facebook. And there's even some my personal page is easily found too, because Jim Bob Oval Shorts is anywhere you can find that name, and I try to keep things going up as well. So you guys make sure you find all those links over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com, and make sure you also get over there to answer tonight's pirate riddle, because I've still got it going on. I've still got plenty of these awesome stickers that we got just for the show and just for me to give away. So you guys make sure you're getting over there and finding the episode in the podcast and more section under the Unconstitutional Awakening in the podcast, and the episode that you're looking to answer for, because I've seen those questions over there on BitChute. And make sure you answer tonight's riddle. And tonight's riddle is, what do you call a pirate that skips class? You guys get over there and answer that question, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for everything.